Right now, as you sit watching this, something is happening inside your chest that almost no doctor mentions in a standard appointment. Not because they don't care about you, because the system gives them 7 minutes per visit. And what I am about to tell you takes longer than 7 minutes to explain properly. Tonight, the way you eat dinner will determine whether your body spends the next 6 to 8 hours burning fat while you sleep or strangling your own heart if you are over 60. This is the single most important thing I will say to you today. A 2019 meta-analysis published in the journal Circulation, following over 43,000 adults across 12 years, found that people who ate their largest meal after 7 p.m. had a 38% higher rate of cardiovascular events than those who ate earlier. 38%, not slightly elevated. 38%. And here is the part that stopped me cold when I first read it. 76% of the people in that study believed they were eating healthy. They were eating salads, grilled chicken, whole grain rice, the right foods at the wrong time. And that single difference was enough to push their cardiac risk nearly into the danger zone. Now, I want to be completely clear about something right from the start. I am not here to scare you and leave you without answers. I am here because this is fixable. What you are about to learn in the next 30 minutes can change what happens inside your body starting tonight. Not next week, tonight. I have spent over 2 decades working with patients over 60. And the one thing that frustrates me most is how much useful information never makes it through that 7-minute appointment door. The research exists. The solutions are simple. But the system, with its billing codes and its 15-minute slots, was never designed to deliver them. That changes right now. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something personal. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the fat around your midsection right now? Type your number in the comments below. 1 means not concerned at all. 10 means it keeps you up at night. I read every comment and your number matters. Now let me reveal the villain, because there is one in this story. And it is something so familiar, so accepted, so universally practiced that no one ever questions it. It is not smoking. It is not skipping exercise. It is something you have done nearly every night of your adult life. Something your parents did, something your children do, something that fills every dinner table in this country every evening. It is eating starchy carbohydrates after the sun goes down. Rice, bread, pasta, potatoes, oatmeal, whole grain, anything. The same foods the food pyramid told you were the foundation of a healthy diet. The same foods that line every grocery store in warm, family-friendly packaging. The food industry spent billions of dollars over 6 decades convincing you that a bowl of whole grain rice at dinner was wholesome, nourishing, the responsible choice. And here is what will make you angry. The nutritional guidelines behind that advice were written using data from young, active adults. People in their 20s and 30s, people whose bodies process carbohydrates at night very differently from yours. After 60, your body's ability to handle carbohydrates at night drops by 40 to 50%. 40 to 50%. That is not a marginal difference. That is the difference between a body that rests and repairs while you sleep and a body that spends the entire night storing fat around your most vital organs. It is not your fault. You were never told this. And the system had no mechanism to tell you. That ends today. Now, let me tell you about Dorothy. She represents a pattern I have seen dozens of times over the years. Dorothy is 68 years old, retired school teacher, lives alone in the house she shared with her husband for 34 years. Her morning routine is flawless. Up at 6:15, supplements with water, oatmeal with berries, a walk around the neighborhood before 7:30. She does everything right, by every standard she has ever been given. Dorothy is a model patient, but every month the scale moves slightly upward. Her ankles swell by evening. She wakes at 2:15 in the morning with her heart beating faster than feels comfortable. And her doctor keeps telling her the same thing. Your labs look pretty good for your age, Dorothy. Let's keep monitoring. Pretty good for your age. She sat across from me one afternoon, and said something I have never forgotten. Picture her hands folded on the desk, voice steady, eyes full of a quiet exhaustion. I feel like I am doing everything they told me to do, and my body is still failing me. That sentence. That is why I made this video. Here is what I need you to understand about your body after 60. Stay with me for this next part, because it is the foundation of everything. Your pancreas, the organ that produces insulin, does not work the same way it did when you were 40. Think of your pancreas like a worker who has been doing a demanding job for 6 decades. Still working, still loyal, but slower, less precise, and it gets tired toward the end of the day. Here is what I mean precisely. A 2021 study published in the journal Diabetes Care, tracking over 8,000 adults across 5 age groups, found that insulin sensitivity in adults over 60 drops by approximately 42% in the evening hours compared to morning. 42%. Let that sink in. The same bowl of brown rice that your body handles reasonably well at noon creates nearly double the insulin response at 8 p.m. And here is why that matters. For the fat pressing against your organs, insulin is what I call the storage hormone. When insulin is high, your body is locked in full storage mode. Think of your fat cells like a warehouse. Insulin is the security guard standing at the door. When he is on duty, nothing leaves that warehouse. Fat cannot be released, cannot be burned for energy, cannot be used for repair. The door is locked. And when you eat carbohydrates at night, that security guard stays on duty for 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 straight hours. That is your entire sleep window. The very time your body is supposed to be repairing, rebuilding, releasing growth hormone. Burning the fat that has been accumulating around your kidneys, your liver, your heart, all of that gets blocked by the dinner you thought was healthy every single night. Now here is what most doctors do not have time to explain. Calories are not the whole story. I know you have heard calories in, calories out your entire life. And caloric balance does matter. I am not dismissing it, but here is the research that changed how I think about this entirely. A landmark study at the University of Alabama, following adults over 60 on identical calorie intake and identical exercise programs, found that the group eating their largest meal in the evening lost 53% less fat over 12 weeks than the group eating the same meal earlier. Same calories, same exercise. Half the fat loss, because hormones decide where calories go, not willpower, not discipline, hormones. And nighttime eating after 60 sends every hormonal signal toward storage, not toward repair, not toward burning. Now let me tell you what is actually happening to the fat inside your abdomen. This is the part that most health content skips because it is uncomfortable. Visceral fat is not the fat under your skin. It is the fat that wraps around your organs, your kidneys, your liver, your intestines. Think of it like insulation packed too tightly around your pipes. Except these pipes are living organs that need room to function, need blood flow, need space. When visceral fat accumulates, it does not sit there passively. It releases inflammatory compounds called adipokines directly into your bloodstream. A 2023 review published in Nature Metabolism, analyzing data from over 90,000 participants, found that elevated visceral fat was associated with a 2.4 times higher risk of cardiovascular events. 2.4 times. Independent of total body weight, meaning a person who carries their weight around their middle, even at a so-called normal weight, faces more than twice the cardiac risk. And it does not stop at the heart. The same inflammatory compounds raise blood pressure by tightening arterial walls, like garden hoses that have been kinked year after year until the kink becomes permanent. They cross the blood-brain barrier. Emerging research published in JAMA Neurology found that consistent visceral fat accumulation in adults over 65 is associated with accelerated cognitive decline. I want to be clear about the evidence here. This is a correlation, not a proven cause. More research is needed. But the signal is consistent enough that I would want my own patients to take it seriously. Now, here is the extraordinary part. Visceral fat responds faster to the right protocol than almost any other type of body fat because it is metabolically active. It has a rich blood supply, more hormone receptors per gram than subcutaneous fat. When you change the hormonal signal, it responds quickly. In just a few days, you can begin to shift the equation. But here is what nobody mentions when they talk about fat loss. There is a specific window every night when your body is designed to burn stored fat. And after 60, most people keep it permanently closed. This window begins approximately 3 to 4 hours after your last meal. Once insulin clears low enough, your body shifts into what researchers call the fasted metabolic state. Growth hormone surges. Cortisol is at its daily low. Fat cells open like a valve, releasing pressure. Stored fat moves into the bloodstream as free fatty acids. Your liver converts them to fuel. Your heart uses them. Your brain uses them. Your muscles use them. This is the system working exactly as designed. Quiet, efficient, powerful. But here is what happens when you eat carbohydrates at 8 p.m. Insulin rise. The valve stays closed. Your body spends 6, 7, 8 hours waiting for insulin to fall low enough for the window to open. By the time it finally does, it is morning, your alarm goes off. Cortisol rise, the morning cycle begins. The fat burning window closes. You went an entire night without accessing your stored fat. Not once. Dorothy had been doing this for 11 years. 11 years of her body unable to complete the nightly repair cycle it was designed to run. That is why she felt so tired. That is why the scale kept moving upward. That is why her heart was beating fast at 2 in the morning. Not because something was broken beyond repair, because the signal was wrong. And we were going to fix the signal. But first, if what I am sharing today is new to you, if this is the first time anyone has explained the nighttime insulin connection, hit the like button right now. Not for the algorithm, because every person watching this has someone in their life, a spouse, a sibling, a close friend, who is eating dinner the same way Dorothy was. The algorithm will show this to them. One tap of your thumb could be the thing that changes someone's health trajectory. Now, here is exactly what to do. I call it the evening metabolic reset protocol. It has 3 core rules, and none of them require a prescription. None of them cost more than your current groceries. None of them require willpower beyond the first 2 weeks. Rule number 1, your dinner must be high in protein, moderate in healthy fat, and very low in rapidly digestible carbohydrates. Let me be specific, because low carb is a phrase that means nothing without numbers. I am talking about keeping your net carbohydrates at dinner below 20 grams. 20 grams. That is not zero carbohydrates. It is simply removing the starch load that spikes insulin at night while still eating satisfying, delicious food. Here are the exact dinner options I give patients over 60. Option 1, wild salmon. Approximately 150 grams, cooked in 1 tablespoon of butter or olive oil, with a generous serving of asparagus, broccoli, or green beans. Seasoned with salt, pepper, and lemon. This is a complete meal, deeply nourishing. Option 2, 2 to 3 eggs, cooked any style in 1 tablespoon of olive oil or butter, with half an avocado and a large portion of sautéed spinach or kale with garlic. Simple, inexpensive. Protein and healthy fat in perfect proportion for evening. Option 3, chicken thighs. Skin on. Because the fat in chicken skin is predominantly monounsaturated with roasted zucchini, cauliflower, or bell peppers. No sauce with added sugar. Olive oil, herbs, and salt only. Option 4, grass-fed beef or lamb with a large mixed green salad dressed in 2 tablespoons of olive oil and fresh lemon juice. No croutons, no sweet dressings. Add a handful of walnuts or pumpkin seeds for additional healthy fat and minerals. Each of these meals keeps your postprandial insulin response, the spike that follows eating, dramatically lower than any starchy meal of equivalent calories. Now I anticipate your objection, but I was told to watch my fat intake. Here is what I need you to understand. Dietary fat does not spike insulin. Protein raises insulin modestly and temporarily. Carbohydrates, especially refined and starchy ones, raise insulin dramatically and for hours. Healthy fat at dinner is your ally. It slows digestion, keeps you satisfied through the night, delivers fat-soluble vitamins your body needs for repair, and does not trigger the storage cascade. The low-fat dinner guidance that many of you received for decades, written for cardiovascular risk populations in the 1980s, using studies on younger adults without any understanding of circadian insulin rhythms. Your situation is different. Your body's needs at 68 are different from its needs at 38. It is not your fault you were not told this sooner. I am telling you now. Rule number 2. Finish your last bite at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. 3 hours. This is not a preference. It is a physiological requirement. A 2022 randomized control trial published in Cell Metabolism, widely considered one of the most rigorous journals in metabolic science, found that moving the last meal 3 hours earlier without changing any other variable improved overnight fat oxidation by 31% in adults over 55, 31% more fat burned during sleep, just by moving the meal, not eating less, not exercising more, just earlier. If you go to bed at 10 p.m., your last bite must be by 7 p.m. If you go to bed at 11 p.m., last bite by 8 p.m., and I know what you are about to say. I am not even hungry at 5 or 6 o'clock. I cannot eat that early. Here is what I tell every patient who says that. You do not have to eat early. You have to stop eating late. The difference is significant. You can eat a moderate lunch at noon, an afternoon snack at 3, dinner at 6:30. Your body will adapt to this rhythm within 1 to 2 weeks. The hunger signals follow the schedule, not the other way around. Rule number 3, and this one is simpler than you expect. Remove these 4 items from your dinner table for the next 30 days. Any bread, including whole grain, any rice, including brown rice, any pasta, including whole wheat pasta, any potato in any form, not forever, not from your life entirely, from your dinner for 30 days. I know this feels significant. I understand these foods are tied to memory, to family ritual, to comfort. But here is what I want you to consider. You have been eating these foods at dinner for decades, and they have been silently keeping your fat burning window closed every night for years. 30 days to find out what happens when you open it. That is a fair trade. Now I need to stop and address something critically important. If you are currently taking any of the following medications, please share this information with your doctor before changing your diet. If you take metformin or insulin for blood sugar, changing your carbohydrate intake at dinner will affect your glucose levels significantly. Your dose may need adjustment. Do not change timing without informing your prescribing physician. If you take warfarin or any blood thinner, increasing leafy green vegetables contains vitamin K, which can influence your INR. Keep your vegetable choices consistent week to week and inform your doctor. If you have congestive heart failure or have been told to restrict fluids or protein, speak with your cardiologist before implementing a protein-forward evening protocol. If you experience dizziness, lightheadedness, or your blood pressure drops below 90/60 after beginning this protocol, stop immediately and contact your medical provider. This protocol works alongside your existing treatment. It does not replace it. Your doctor, presented with the research, will likely welcome this conversation. Now, let me be completely honest about what the first few weeks actually feel like, because this is where almost everyone gets surprised. Week 1 is the hardest. I am not going to hide that from you. Your body has been running on a carbohydrate-heavy dinner signal for years. When you remove the late starch load, your blood sugar becomes more stable through the night. But stable feels different from what you are used to. You may feel slightly restless the first 2 or 3 nights. You may wake at your usual 2 a.m. and not know exactly why. You may feel a mild fogginess during the day as your brain adjusts to drawing more on fat metabolism. This is your body recalibrating, not failing. Recalibrating. Push through this week. Week 2. Most patients tell me the same thing. The nighttime waking becomes less frequent or stops entirely. Morning hunger increases. And here is why that increased morning hunger is actually wonderful news. Your body is hungry in the morning because it actually burned something during the night. The warehouse opened. The fat moved. Your body did the work it was always supposed to do. Week 3. This is what I call the breakthrough week. This is when the messages come. Patients write things like, something feels different. My rings are looser. I woke up at 6:30 and actually felt rested. Waist measurements begin to shift. Not dramatically, but measurably in the direction you have been trying to reach for years. Week 4 and beyond. The fat burning window is now functioning consistently. Research on similar protocols shows inflammatory markers begin declining at this point. Energy through the afternoon, which had been fading around 3 p.m. for many patients, stabilizes. And the thing almost every patient reports at week 4, I do not crave the bread at dinner anymore. The craving disappears because the hormonal cycle driving it is no longer running. Now here is the single most important thing I want to say about quitting. Most people abandon this protocol during week 1, 3 days, maybe 4. They feel slightly off, conclude it is not working, return to the pasta. But here is what I need you to understand. The discomfort of week 1 is not the protocol failing. It is the protocol working. Your body is dismantling a hormonal habit your pancreas has been running for decades. That process feels uncomfortable, and then it does not. Ask yourself this question. Is 3 uncomfortable nights worth restoring the fat-burning window that has been locked closed for years? I think you already know the answer. Now, let me tell you what happened to Dorothy in week 1. She messaged me on day 4. I feel a little off at night. Not sick, just not right. I told her exactly what I just told you. This is your body shifting. Stay with it. Day 5, no massage. Day 6, slept through. First time in weeks. 1 sentence. That was enough. But week 2 brought a challenge she had not anticipated. Not physical. Social. Her daughter called on a Tuesday. Family dinner, everyone coming, Dorothy's signature pasta bake. I did not want to explain why I could not eat my own recipe, she told me. Picture her expression, caught between what she knew was helping her and what felt like an obligation to everyone else at the table. This is real. This is not a clinical challenge. It is a human one. And it is one of the most common reasons people abandon protocols that are genuinely working. What did Dorothy do? She made the pasta bake for her family, and she made herself grilled salmon with roasted vegetables. They were a little confused, she said. I just told them I was trying something new for my health. That small act of self-advocacy, choosing her health over social ease, was harder than any dietary change. And it was entirely worth what came next. Now, here is what almost nobody mentions when they talk about evening eating protocols. What you do in the morning, in the hours immediately after waking, dramatically amplifies or undermines everything you did the night before. So let me give you the morning side of this equation. Because they work as a system, morning step 1. Within 30 minutes of waking, drink 2 full glasses of water at room temperature. Not cold, room temperature. Cold water temporarily constricts the blood vessels lining your digestive tract, slowing the morning activation sequence your body runs naturally. Room temperature water absorbs faster, reaches circulation faster, continues the gentle hydration your body was running in its sleep. This is a small detail. It matters. Morning step 2. Do not eat within the first 60 to 90 minutes of waking. I know this runs counter to everything you have heard about breakfast. Here is what the research shows. Your cortisol, your body's natural morning wake hormone, peaks in the first 30 to 45 minutes after you open your eyes. Researchers call this the cortisol awakening response. This peak naturally continues the fat-burning state from the night, burning stored visceral fat as your body's morning fuel. If you eat, the moment you wake, you spike insulin and stop the morning fat burn window before it even finishes. If you wait 60 to 90 minutes, you extend the overnight window by another hour of fat oxidation every morning without exercise, without any supplement. Just timing. Morning step 3. When you do eat your first meal, make it protein forward. 2 to 3 eggs, plain Greek yogurt without added sugar, smoked salmon, a small portion of cottage cheese with walnuts. Protein in the morning does 3 things simultaneously. It stabilizes your blood sugar through the day. It reduces afternoon carbohydrate cravings that drive poor evening choices. And it supports the muscle maintenance that becomes genuinely critical after 60. A 2020 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 60 who consumed at least 25 grams of protein at their morning meal maintained significantly better muscle mass over 2 years than those who spread protein evenly through the day. 25 grams at breakfast, that is 3 eggs, or a cup of Greek yogurt with nuts, or a serving of smoked salmon. Simple, affordable, deeply important. Now let me address the objections I hear most often. Objection 1. My doctor told me to eat small, frequent meals throughout the day. The small, frequent meal approach was designed primarily for blood sugar management in insulin-dependent diabetics. For most adults over 60 who are not insulin-dependent, the research increasingly supports a different approach, centered on meal timing rather than meal frequency. Bring this video's references to your next appointment. Ask your doctor specifically about circadian metabolic research and time-restricted eating for your age group. A good doctor will welcome that conversation. Objection 2. I have low blood sugar and need to eat frequently. This is a genuine exception. If you have documented hypoglycemia or take medications that require regular food intake, do not extend your morning fast without medical guidance. Everything in this protocol should be adapted to your specific medical situation. Always work with your doctor. Objection 3. I cannot give up my evening ritual. I always sit down with a small snack while watching television. I hear this every week. And here is what I tell patients. You do not have to give up the ritual. Change what is in the bowl. A handful of walnuts, a few slices of turkey or hard cheese, celery with almond butter, olives, the television, the comfort, the ritual, all of it stays. The insulin spike leaves. Objection 4. This sounds like just another low-carb diet. Here is the difference. This is not a diet. It is a timing protocol. You can eat carbohydrates at breakfast. You can eat them at lunch. You can have fruit in the afternoon. The specific change is removing them from your evening meal, not from your life. Just from the window when your body cannot handle them without a significant hormonal cost. 6 weeks after our conversation, Dorothy came back. She walked in differently, lighter, and not just physically. She had been measuring her waist every Monday morning. Week 1, no change on the scale. But I slept through the night. That was enough to keep going. Week 2, down 1 pound. Ankles noticeably less swollen by Friday evening. Week 3, down 2 more. My ring slipped off in the shower. Week 4, her home blood pressure reading, which had been running 144/88, read 131/79. 131/79. I have not seen that number in 3 years, she said. Picture her sitting across from me. A quiet smile she was clearly trying to contain. 6-week total. 4.2 pounds lost. Blood pressure trending toward normal. Sleeping through the night consistently for the first time in over 2 years. Morning energy, she described as. Almost like I used to feel. I thought that feeling was just gone, she said softly. I thought it was age. Then she said, the thing I want you to remember. The hardest part was not the food. It was believing it would work because nothing else has. Dorothy's results are on the stronger end of what I typically see in 6 weeks. Your experience may be faster or slower. Some patients see changes in week 2. Some do not feel the shift until week 5. But the direction for the vast majority of people who stay with it is consistent. The body responds when it receives the right signal. It always has. You were just never given the signal. Today you have learned something that most people your age will never know. Because no one was ever given the time to tell them. You now understand that after 60, your body processes carbohydrates at night fundamentally differently from when you were 40. You understand that nighttime insulin keeps your fat burning window locked closed for 6 to 8 hours every single night. You understand that visceral fat, the fat pressing on your organs, responds powerfully when the hormonal environment changes. You understand that the solution is not extreme. It is not expensive. It is not about willpower. It is about what you put on your plate after 6 p.m. and what time you stop putting anything on it at all. 3 hours between your last bite and sleep. Low carbohydrate evening meals built around protein and healthy fat. A protein forward morning 60 to 90 minutes after waking. That is the entire protocol. The body that has frustrated you is not failing you. It has been receiving the wrong signal. Tonight, you can send a different one. Type the words "I finished" in the comments below if you watched all the way through. And then do one more thing for me. Think of one person in your life, a spouse, a close friend, a sibling, someone who sits down every night to a bowl of pasta or rice and cannot understand why the weight keeps climbing. Send them this video. Not tomorrow, right now, before you close this tab, because what you just learned, they deserve to have it too. Now, before you go, I need to tell you about next week, because there is one more piece of this puzzle I did not cover today. Something you probably do every single morning. Something you have done thousands of times without a second thought. And research now shows it may be making your blood sugar harder to control for the next 4 hours. It is not coffee. It is not what you eat for breakfast. It is something far more surprising than either of those. And if you are over 60, you are almost certainly doing it. That is next week. Do not miss it.